Joining me today is Larry Oglesby, a former client with Endeavor Agency, to share his experiences in working with our team. Larry, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much, Corey. I appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Yeah, you had some amazing things that you were working on as kind of atypical from the job search and the
Yeah.
cool things
Yeah.
that you were doing. So share with us a little bit about the pivot that you made to do your thing.
Yeah. So a friend had used your services and we were talking, and I just realized it had been probably forever, maybe 30 years since I had last had anyone else look at my resume. And the
Wow.
world changes quite a bit in 30 years. And when we talked, I thought, well, I'll take a flyer. And I was really just looking for give me a quick refresh on the resume because I don't think about that. I don't think about LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And my expectations were super low. You could have delivered a lot less, Cord, and I would have been just fine. Um, but I got so much more out of the discussions in the environment. So
No, you had a plan or
yeah,
initially. I remember when you
yeah,
started off, you were
yeah,
looking at, maybe a traditional type
yeah,
job leadership role. And then
yeah.
part of our platform too is to help people if they're looking at switching over to a small business. So tell me a little bit about what you did there.
Yeah. So I have I've owned my own consulting business for probably at the time 7, 8 years, and
Mhm.
there's always this question, right? When you're on your own, you think about going back to work for someone else. When you're working for someone else, you think about going on your own.
Right.
I was at one of those times that I wasn't super clear on it, and so we explored both options, and then in the middle of that time, something came to me that I hadn't thought about doing. That was forming a franchise business. And and what was unique about that is it was all investment the first year. And as you know, your rate structure is really anchored on a very manageable fixed fee with some upside to you if someone does well, and they
Mhm.
typically do. And we were having success in some of those discussions and things like that. And what was impressive about those discussions is that you genuinely thought about what was best for me and my situations. I remember you specifically when I said, well, hey, how does this affect you if I take this route of investing a lot of money and I don't make anything? You
Mhm.
said, wait. We are about what you endeavor. And that's when it hit home for me. I'm like, okay. So that's when you guys became a very good thought partner for me, and where a range of my friends have come to you since. It was
Mhm.
about this fundamental trust that you would act in the best interest of your clients, not the short term best interest of your revenue for the year. I think you guys not only helped the on the presentation of a resume that has a different look and feel to it, but
Mhm.
some techniques on LinkedIn I hadn't thought about. Also, just thinking about whether it's working for someone else or working for myself, there's always a question of how do you present yourself,
Right.
and and the way that you framed kind of the elevator statement, and how that plays into key stories that help to illustrate those points and lead discussions in a direction that is helpful for you and the company to figure out whether it's a good fit. That's been helpful, and I've used it in my consulting business as much as I ever would have in a typical job interview.
Nice. And you've been very generous with us and referrals. We've super appreciated that. And yeah, it's cultural. That's what we're here for, is to help people, right? It's a people
Yeah,
business. So we love that. What were some of the other things that you encountered along the way? Maybe were challenges, and
yeah,
what were some of the things you enjoyed in your work with us to overcome some of those?
yeah. I don't. I'm not sure that challenge is the right word. What I found was your preparation is incredibly professional and on point, right? So let's just take just a simple example of how you should take a LinkedIn photo.
Hmm.
You guys send like a 20 item checklist on this type color. Here's what a background should look like. Here's the stance, the positioning. It was almost okay, let me go through this and think about this point by point. And it was really simple to follow,
Hmm.
and it produced a great outcome. And then tie that with your team really doing some massaging, right? I don't know how to spell Photoshop if you gave me all letters,
Right.
but they did, and they still didn't give me more hair. So
We have
that's
ethics,
something
right? We have
I
ethics.
know. I don't know what's wrong with them. So, but I found that to be the case throughout the process, and frankly, I found it to be so powerful that I asked one of my daughters to come and spend time with you guys, and so it's hard to beat when you are satisfied with something enough to suggest family members to reach out and then to reach into your pocket and pay for part of it.
Hey, that's it's a
So right,
good
it,
endorsement right there.
it
What
was
would you
helpful.
share? I mean, maybe what specifically, what
Yeah.
did you share with the people you referred to say, hey, if you want to find success in working with this, be sure you do these things. What did you share with people you referred?
Yeah. So I told all of them, I said, if you send me your resume, I don't believe that it's going to pass a 3-second test visually.
Hmm.
I said, and first and foremost, in today's world, particularly people that are in my peer group, right? They're in their mid 50s.
Hmm.
Anyone who thinks that there isn't still age bias is just fooling themselves, right? So I
Right.
said, you really have to compete these days with people who are a lot more technologically adept, and the way they're presenting themselves is different, and you're not going to get up to speed on that, and so this could help. I said the second thing is just a scrub of LinkedIn and how that works was what you'll benefit from that. The third was concentrating on the three things that you do that are distinctive.
Hmm.
And then the idea of here's a pivot to a story that enables you to introduce yourself in a way that reinforces those three things and also leads in a very practical discussion, right? I've found that to be helpful um, so many times in my time. And the other one I'd say is that most organizations talk to you about really getting into what is going on the particular job being offered and the particular industry, et cetera. And I really like that you guys came out and you were very practical. You said, hey, listen, your resume is going to hit it in 3 seconds or it's not. But you spending time reviewing it and going over it and customize it is really wasted time that would be very effective spent in, say, networking or thinking other items.
Yeah.
Um, I I literally haven't touched my resume since you guys sent it to me. So that's something I used to thought was just realistic. I updated that routinely.
Yeah.
I just don't do that anymore.
And so
So
many people do what we call resume fidgeting, right? This is the
right,
one tangible thing they have. And if I just make this change, it's going to be magic and affect everything. And you're exactly right. The most important thing is have a really good resume and go out and start conversations.
correct.
That's
That's exactly right. That's it. And it's conversations don't. It doesn't matter if you're searching for the perfect full-time job or you're in a contract position and you're looking for the next role, or you're trying to figure out what's the next business you're going to start. Right? It's the things you guys talked about helped me to reflect on what I wanted out of life, and and I can remember a time where, as a result of what you guys were helping me, I was at the point where someone wanted me to come work for them. And not only have I been through the journey with you guys, but my wife is going through the journey at the same time. And
yeah.
so it was almost to the point of, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. But in my heart, I was just, I, I think I was going to accept it because it would be less risk for her. And I go to her and I said, well, here's where we're at. And she turned and she goes, I've been thinking about like all the things we've been talking about. Are you sure you could be happy if you took that job? And I said, no. not. I called them up and I said, "Hey,
Yeah,
you got other people that are great. Um, it's not for me." So the ability to provide clarity in the process is just it's a priceless gift that you guys gave me. So,
that's fantastic. Thank you so much for all the great insights, the humbling things that you've shared back with our team. We know you're going to be incredibly successful. You already have been, and hopefully continue to go that route and find the happiness as well as the career
oh yeah,
success.
yeah.